I want to start this show by talking about something that you and I have to deal with very often, which is staffing events. We run staffed and unstaffed events, and we only have a handful of what we call closers or dealer event facilitators, because you and I are just not going to let just anyone represent our name out there. When these dealers are paying us a lot of money to come in and help them. So that's why we only have about probably 8 or 10 guys that actually go out and staff, right?
That's right. That's right. Because they may talk to us on the phone, but the guy that shows up at the store becomes, he becomes Buyback Billy. He becomes Caleb. He becomes, the person they associate the company with. So it's really important that we have quality, clean guys that could. We don't want to have the typical roadshow guy who is going through 3 divorces at the same time, coming out of rehab and just trying to find a way to make some money. So that's why we have a very limited staff, because if we could find super great quality guys like the ones we have, we could sell more, staff more, do more. It comes back to finding, the right people.
Yes. So now we've met a lot of talented people, and if someone passes the drug test and someone passes the video, and we can tell they're talented and they're good enough to close us on that they can work for us, and we're going to give them a shot, but we're going to keep it really close. We had someone one time, we're not going to call any names. This is a funny story. You want to tune in. I'm telling you, this is a funny story. We had a guy that he worked about 5 events for us, done a great job. The dealers loved him. He did a great job. And then he no-showed on us one time. And I don't think that I even told you that he had no-showed. I simply just replaced him, put him on the you can't work for us anymore program. And he called me very apologetically one day and asking for a second chance. And I gave him a second chance. He called me late at night, and I needed. It just so happened. This is how funny it was. There was a dealer out in Texas, and the closer had an emergency and couldn't go. And this person called me. We'll call him Chris. So Chris called me and said, I really want to, I really want to make it up to you. I want to go work for you guys and do a great job for you. And this was late at night. I'm talking about 11 a.m. I said, well, I tell you what you can do. If you can get to the airport by X time and be here, then do it. He said, well, I don't have any money. So I gave him, I wired him just enough. Just enough for a plane ticket. And he said, and I'd like to have like $3 for a Coke. So I wired him $3 for a Coke. He said, I need an $18 haircut. So I'm telling you, he had like just a few pennies left over when he got to where he was going. Now, here's where Caleb comes in. Caleb, I was sleeping the next morning when he arrived in Texas. He couldn't get a hold of me. Your phone started ringing. What happened?
So my phone starts ringing, and he says, hey, man, I can't get a hold of Billy, and I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana. I'm supposed to be in Texas, but I ended up landing in Shreveport, and I need to get to the dealership. And I said, okay, man, no problem. Just get a car, and just I'll look up the dealership, and I'll find you a hotel close by, and we'll help you out. I was like, but I think Billy's supposed to be handling this, one of his customers, but I'll do what I can to help you. So I start calling Billy, and he's asleep. I can't get a hold of him. So I call the guy back. I'm like, hey, all right, just get your car and go to the town. And by the time you get to town, Billy will have woke up, and he'll be able to help you get a room and stuff. He's like, all right, great. How do I get a car? And I'm like, who is this guy? Because I never talked to him. He just talked to you. And he's like, I said, just get a rental car. He's like, I can't get a rental car. And I'm like, you don't have a driver's license or what? And I'm like, what? I was like, so I started looking up how much it cost to Uber to Texas from where he was at. So it was going to be about $800. So I'm like, well, we're not doing that. So I called the rental car place, and he was going to pay for it. So I was like, I'll send you the money, but he didn't have a credit card. So he's got to go to Walmart and get a credit card. He said, if I would just send him the money. So instead I called the rental car place, and I got them to book it over the phone. They said it was against their policy and all this. Well, I got them to do it, and they took my credit card, and we got him a car. And then so he gets in the car, and he drives to Texas, and then he calls back and says, okay, I'm at the dealership now. how do I get a hotel room? And I'm like, what the hell is Billy doing with this guy? I was like, man, I ain't got time to deal with this. It's not even my customer. So I call, we get him a hotel. And then I don't know what happened. I guess you can explain what happened when he got to the dealership. But that was the communication cycle from he just said, okay, I'll go, lands, doesn't know how to get a rental car, can't rent anything in his name, and has no credit. He can't do anything.
I remember he called you and he said, he was like, he said, what now? And Katie was like, what do you mean, what now? He said, well, Billy just told me to come to Shreveport, and then if I can make it here, he'd tell me what to do next. So
Billy didn't even tell him he was working a sale. He just told him to go to Shreveport.
Yeah, he didn't know. He was like, and then so he had no idea, and then Caleb had no idea. I finally woke up and explained what was going on, but he actually pulled the event off, and we gave him a few more chances.
Hold on,
but,
a little. You may not even know this part of the story. So after the event, I don't know how he gets back to Georgia, but the rental car goes missing for 90 days. So, so I get this like. Every day when I'm balancing the American Express out, there's this increasing charge from budget. It's just going up and up and up. And I'm like, what in the world's going on? Who's out driving a car? So I call them and they're like, the car was never returned to Shreveport. Well, what ends up happening is this idiot took the car back to a different airport and just left it parked outside the airport in the front lane with the keys in it. And, so they charged me. It was like $3,700 what it was. And then I had to report it as, I reported it and said, this is inaccurate charge. Well, the only way they would give me the money back was if I did a police report and reported the card stolen. And because they took it over the phone, there was no record of the transaction. So I ended up getting my money back. But he got a police report filed in the state of Texas for stealing a rental car.
I was going to leave that part out, Caleb, but hey, full disclosure here today, you're right. And we still haven't found this guy. We have looked everywhere. But here's the wonderful thing. The dealer keeps calling and requesting him again. Said he's the greatest closer, the greatest facilitator.